See, initially, in anything which you do in life, you are going to face success and failure. We faced it in the beginning. We in fact had to put our project on hold for a few years before we again revived it because nobody would understand what we're doing. So obviously we were not making money from there. You also need to make money to survive. Everything is not charity. So we also did a lot of consulting work in the meantime with international companies who understood the concepts of STEM. So while we brought it to India and we were taking our slow steps, we were taking STEM steps first. By the way, now we take STEM strides. So what we do is at that time we took baby steps, and while we got a little traction, we also used our knowledge which we had together and worked in many other countries. In fact, now the same countries have also grown like we have grown.
Hello, sir. Welcome to the MKR podcast. How are you doing?
Always well. Enjoying the rains in Bombay with some chai and pakoras coming soon, so enjoying it more.
Right. So, how's the lockdown been going for you?
Well, the lockdown has not been a good thing for everybody, but one thing is there. It's actually brought about a lot of things, a lot of changes, a lot of ways we think about things. We started changing our strategies, making business the way business go. It's made us more innovative. But yes, it's been a sad state for a lot of people, and we really wish that it gets over fast.
Right, sir. So something I'm very excited today is talking about STEM. We discussed various topics and we've had people from various domains on the show. But something that we've missed out is the STEM education. So, just to start, can you give the listeners a brief introduction
Yes.
about what is STEM education?
Yeah. Well, some of you know, some don't know. I just know everybody. I'm just making it easy. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. But in today's very important context, we've added an A to it and made it STEM and STEAM. The A part is the arts part because that's equally important in my opinion, not just the hard sciences, but you need to have the arts part, make a soften it from a design perspective. So basically, STEM education is a concept more than anything else. It is all STEM per se has always been as part of our portfolio. Throughout, we've all learned science in school, we've all learned maths in school, go to colleges, we learn technology, engineering. But this is the first time when all subjects are taught in an interdisciplinary manner, means in connection with each other rather than being taught in different silos. So they're not four different subjects now. They're how beautifully we can join the dots with all these four subjects. And this leads to better innovation, leads to better application of your knowledge. And most important, it sets your creative cells thinking. You start getting more curious, you get creative because then you know now, all right, how did this, how does my biology connect with maths? How does maths connect with engineering? It's mind blowing. It's just actually that one thing when I actually started this off, I couldn't believe that this was what we missed out in life. We missed it out in school. Of course, I was in school much before you, and you were there after me. But we didn't have STEM up to the last few years.
Right.
STEM basically is a concept where you learn how to apply knowledge from different fields, yet at the same time work together with each of them in an integrated manner. And don't learn science only as a science, maths only as maths, and so on and so forth. So it's a beautiful way of actually getting things done. The Americans got it right. Now we are getting it better.
Right. So, how did you get your interest up in STEM, and what was the initial thing that basically pained your
Well, there is
curiosity?
always yes. It's a good question because sometimes I think also how the hell did I get into STEM? Now, several years back, maybe about 5 years, 20, 25 years back, I used to work in the United States. And during that time, by default, actually, this is more by default than by design, I got exposed to STEM concepts because one of the projects our company was doing was setting up STEM labs for community schools. So I didn't understand what is STEM labs. For me, it was a job to do at that time, 25 years back, by 30 years back almost. And I said, all right, let's go and put up STEM schools. I did not know what is STEM. In fact, when I went to the United States, and I didn't even know what a computer was for that matter. That was way back in 1985. So I had no idea. Now, While I started setting these up and working with a lot of professionals from this industry, with teachers, educators, I met a gentleman by the name of Dr. Sean Carlson, and Sean and me got along very well. And he told me, Raj, this is going to be the future of the world. This education system is going to be the future. I said, well, okay, I'm getting my salary, so I'm good. I don't care if it's the future or not. At that time, I was a little taking it easy. Then as I started setting up these projects, I started working with a lot of kids and a lot of educators. And a person who knew nothing about computers, software, hardware, I started working. I now can program in 4 languages. I can take out your laptop and put it back. I can take out your Apple phone and put it back in a couple of minutes. All because I learned it hands-on in one of these labs while I was working. And I'm not from a technology background. My background, I'm an MBA, but I'm not from a tech background. So it debunks one myth that you have to be tech savvy to know STEM. You don't have to be. You don't have to be. Just be anybody, have a passion for finding out something new. That's where we go. So that was my first brush with STEM. And I decided at that point that this is fun. Had it been there when I was in school, probably life would have been different for me. But now I'm living the life I wanted. So it's come back a full circle. And I brought it to India in 1998 first.
Okay.
And let me tell you, it was a colossal failure at that time. Nobody understood what I'm trying to do. No one. And everybody asked me, are you crazy? What is this? Somebody told me it's stem cell technology. That is the most common thing. Somebody thought I'm talking about biology stems, whose stem and what sort of things. It didn't work very well there. Then again, I said, I will try again. I will bring it back. So in about 5 years now, we are in 2020. So about 2015, I started and I set up a little company called India STEM Alliance. We started with about 3 of us. I have myself and my colleagues, Aman and Harmeet, 3 of us, very passionate. We've been friends for the last many, many years. So we then decided, let's take a shot again. This time we succeeded. Not only did we succeeded well. And by the grace of God and everything, we now work with more than 3,000 schools right across the country. We work with about 200 to 300 colleges and universities, work with a couple of state governments, and we're doing good. We enjoy it. Because now, slowly and steadily, the understanding of STEM has gone up.
Right.
That's where we were.
So talking about
the...
Right. I'm so sorry to interrupt. So talking about the current situation, the COVID era has unleashed a new system of education that I wouldn't have imagined before this. So the evolution of online education is something we are seeing right now. So how do you visualize post-COVID era education scenario?
Okay, for that, I'll just go back a few months, 6, 8 months back. Sometime in the month of November, December, I was talking at an event and I clearly said that the future of education at some point of time is going to be online, especially for a country like India, where we have thousands and thousands of people in all different corners of the country. It's difficult to take good quality education to the last mile, so to speak. So when I was speaking, a lot of people ask me, no, Indians don't adopt to technology very easily. The youngsters, they love it, but in villages, etc., smaller towns, there won't be any adoption. There is a problem of internet, etc., etc. Lots of objections were there. However, I said there may be objections, but we'll always find a way to overcome them. So 6 months back, this was just about 7 months back now. This was in November, December, and you imagine the scenario. In January, not a single person in India was talking about COVID-19. Not a single person. Not a single student thought that, okay, they were all thinking my exams are coming, I got to learn, I got to do this, that. Everybody was in their regular state of mind. And suddenly, come March, and everything, 360 degrees, everything. Now comes online education. Online education is the only way we can take things further, because there is no other way at this point of time. No parent would like the children to go to school at this point of time. Today, I am reading 30,000 new cases. It's a sad thing to read. It's not a happy thing to read. You'd like children to come back to school, but online education is going to be the new norm now. Over the next few years, new months, you'll see the schools won't be opening very soon. Some people are saying October, some are saying after Diwali, some are saying 2021. Like I was talking to somebody in the Middle East, they're opening in 2021. They're not opening before that. Okay. In India, somebody says after Diwali. Now, post-COVID, during COVID, not only the children are going to be adopting technology, and that is what we're talking today through Zoom is nothing but a STEM intervention at some point of time.
Right.
Somebody created this entire application. Somebody used their brains for making an application which makes us talk one-on-one today. You imagine yourself 20 years back without internet. You and I would never be able to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Right? My daughter is in the United States. I can't speak to her unless I'm on a Skype or a Zoom.
Right.
That's fine. That's what technology, that's what STEM does. It creates solutions to real world problems. That's the most important thing. There are real world problems. What we learn in school are not real world problems. That's a syllabus. You've got to do it. CBSE says, if you had got to do it, you do it. No problem. That's okay. It's good. We are all products of the same system. However, here is an online option, and not only students, but now even teachers have to adopt and adapt to online teaching. That's the beauty. COVID has brought the leveler. It's brought them both on the same platform. Teachers, students, all together, and that's the only way we can see each other and meet each other. That's COVID for you, and that's going to also be the future. Not just for COVID, it's going to be a future.
Right, sir. So, how do you think, how and why, my question is, how and why do you think the education that was given maybe 20 or 10 years back would become irrelevant in the coming years if we are not,
Yeah.
we do not have the proper skills to match the accordance and the need of the hour?
You're right. It's a very nice question also because I also, keep talking about the same thing. I said today the children are studying in school. Okay, 20 years back, obviously 20 years back, I had no idea I'll be using technology so much. Okay? Had I known 20 years back, I would have said, okay, let me learn some more programming, let me learn some hard work, networking, something. I didn't learn it for that matter because we don't see the future. We are only seeing the present.
Mm-hmm.
Even the subjects we learn today are almost the same what they were 20 years back. I see some of the school books of today's children and I say, oh, we're reading the same books.
Right.
We're using the same concept. Nothing much has changed there. Why has it not changed? I don't want to get into that debate. That's a topic for another day. But things have not moved. And if they don't move now, there will be chaos. But things have started moving. Recently, CBSE has included artificial intelligence as part of its curriculum. Why have they done it? Because it's one of the things which we want to know for the future. However, I always ask a question to them and to everybody else. I said, listen, you've got artificial intelligence, but have you thought, how is it made? How about coding? Who's going to code it? So let's go back a little bit. Let's teach coding. Because in the next 20 years, 70% of the jobs which we have today will all become STEM jobs. They will no longer be the same as they are today. Today, so many artificial intelligence bots are there. There's so many things which are changing. There is cloud. There was a time there used to be physical hard servers lying there. Now we've got cloud servers. What is the cloud? Nobody used to think. Everybody think, oh, cloud means rain, etc., etc. Now look at it today. Today, cloud is associated with technology. 20 years back, cloud was Nimbus, Cirrus, all the names which we remember in school.
Right.
Today, what? We have cloud servers, we have cloud platforms, we have cloud-based solutions. Things have transformed. I'm not saying there's a connection between that geography and technology. What I'm saying is that the nomenclature has changed. Today, you are a young girl. I'm sure you are more familiar with technology than your parents are and more than their parents would have been. Correct?
Right.
Today, we see some of our parents, or some of our colleagues using technology and saying, "Hurry, yaar, what is this? I don't know what to do." Youngsters will say, "Hurry, you don't know this?" Because they're born in a digital era. Digital skills and skills of the future are to be taught in school now. Imagine a 5-year-old child today in school. When he comes out and he goes through the same curriculum we've been going through, imagine him 15 years when he's out of school. He'll be just one of the several million who are going to be just like anybody else with no extra skills. We need to, at different points, integrate and intervene with some skills, which are going to be future skills. We can call them 21st century skills. They don't have to be technology skills. They are skills of different things. They're collaboration, critical thinking, cognitive thinking, all these things. All these are part of the future. We are never taught this in school. I'm very passionate about it. I said, you got to have these skills irrespective of whatever job you do, whether you become a dietitian or you become an engineer, you become a marine scientist, whatever. You still got to have these skills. You got to speak with people, you got to collaborate, talk. That's important.
Right.
So the 20 years back, education has not much changed today. And if nothing is done, it won't in the next 20 years also. You would be telling your next generation, hey, oh, we did the same thing 20 years back. I'm saying it to the generations I meet today. You would say the same thing. And we don't want that to happen. Therefore, STEM comes as a very important intervention. It brings in the new world skills, skills of thought, innovation, technology, creations. That's what I think is very important.
Right. So I also hear my mother say sometimes like this is the same NCRT books we read 20 years back or 30 years back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I can imagine what you see. So, yeah, it's the same. Nothing much has changed.
Right. And like we are seeing some transformations like AI being introduced in entrepreneurship. So like we spoke about the skills of the future. How do you think STEM can be combined efficiently with entrepreneurship to create skills of the future?
Yeah, right. Actually, entrepreneurship is a very nice subject, which basically is required. See, and STEM tells you to create, innovate, make some new product or create a new solution. Now, if you have created something new, something wonderful, you created a wonderful thing. But if it's going to lie on your shelf or lie on your laptop or computer, it is useless. Take it to the outside world. Take it to market. You need to have entrepreneurial skills. Actually, that's one of the very strong things. We have a program in collaboration with the Henry Ford USA, in which we call that program a STEMI program.
Okay.
STEM leads to invention, and then you take it with entrepreneurship. So you have a we have a STEMI program which takes the child time he makes his pitch and says, okay, I am a startup. It could be a 15, be a 16-year-old, be a 20-year-old. Have entrepreneurial skills. Also, entrepreneurial skills never go waste. Even if you don't become an entrepreneur, even if you're working in a professional company, or you started your own business, or you are just saying, all right, I just want to be a consultant. You need these skills because these are skills of the 21st century anyways. If I have a product, I don't know how to pitch it to somebody. How will anybody buy it? Today, everybody says we want funding for a product or a project or a startup. We cannot pitch his project. It will be a brilliant solution if we can't take it further. And therefore, entrepreneurship skills become most vital. On that, we have started a program actually called there's a program for women entrepreneurs. One of the courses which we take is for the women, for the girl child and women entrepreneurs. There are two very important initiatives we started. One is for the women entrepreneurs, where we take women even from villages, etc., and help them create begin their entrepreneurship journey. So we partnered with a couple of good companies in that, and you're doing great. And we've also started a program, especially, and since you're a girl, I'll spell this out for you. It's called STEM Sakhi, a STEM Sakhi program, which is how to get more girls into the STEM field. You know that in the engineering and IITs, etc., there are very few girls and more of the boys in that section. We would like girls to say in the matter because they are much smarter, and I'm telling you that. Not saying it because you're sitting there. I'm telling you because I have a daughter. She's smarter than me. For that matter, my wife, she's smarter than me. But they are in a different journey. They've taken different journeys and they're doing fantastic in their careers. However, we would like a lot of girls to come inside, understand STEM, and make their mark. So we have a complete program. In English, we call it STEM for girls, and in Hindi, we call it the STEM Sakhi. We take it right to the rural, get ahead in the. That's my. STEM is important. So is entrepreneurship.
Right. So, sir, like you spoke about the two programs, what is your plan to make them reach to the most remotest part of the country?
Yes. There are two people who can help us in this. We've got the programs, we've got the passion, we've got everything, but it's not enough for us all the time. What we need is a lot of support from corporates, especially they have a CSR division. We would love to align with corporates and tell them these are the plans which we have, which can empower the woman, which can empower not only women, it will empower a nation, a youth. It has a very positive socio-economic impact on our country, on our economy. Because in STEM, one thing I'll tell you, even if you're not extremely well educated or you don't have 95% and 100% marks, as long as you have an innovative mindset, have a curiosity, You can leverage that. Good. Therefore, STEM becomes important for our youth, especially in our villages. India has the largest youth population in the world. Are we harnessing it? No. What are they doing? They're playing TikTok, they're on Facebook, they're just wasting their time, they're teasing girls, standing on the job, or whatever they're doing, for lack of anything else of interesting to do. Let's get them involved into creation. One of the things which has happened is the Prime Minister has recently launched, let's make our own apps. He's kept an app challenge to, replace all the apps.
Right.
That's a great thing. Had another initiative called Startup India. We should have a lot of encouragement from there and a lot of government support. Most important, you can start an initiative, but you got to follow up and support those missions. And we need not only the government, but even the corporates to come inside, step inside and do a lot of work and take us beyond city 1, city 2, city 3. We need to go to the grassroots levels, reach up, because they are very smart, but they don't have the tools to go ahead in life. They have aspiration, but they don't have the way forward. So let's give them a direction. And that's the idea. So we need corporates and the government to support us in whatever we are doing. That's the best way to go.
Right, sir. So how and what is the most efficient way to combine STEM with the Indian school education or the college education that we are receiving?
Yeah, that's good. Again, as I said, the Indians, when I used to have a lot of experiences in schools where I would tell them that we talk about STEM education, that, oh, we've already got a CBSE curriculum or an ICSE curriculum or an IB curriculum. They've got some curriculum that's already there. I say is always STEM is a concept, it's not a curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
STEM can be integrated with whatever you're teaching. You're teaching science, yes. Create a STEM intervention there. You're maths, yes. And you always encourage them to have a science lab. You've been to your physics lab and a chemistry lab and a bio lab. You've been all there. So let's combine these along with a little bit of other interventions like putting some computer coding, etc. Make the whole thing an integrated thing. So STEM can integrate with curriculum. It does not have to be separate. It's a myth that it has to be, oh, STEM, we have to study separately. It's not. It's a myth. We need to integrate with the curriculum. We need to educate teachers on understanding how they can use the tools to teach the children in such a way that it becomes more experiential, it becomes more hands-on and project-based rather than just theory-based. You can't put all of STEM into the education system. No, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Impossible. But you can put a lot of things where children become curious and then on their own start taking up more programs, more courses from wherever there are multiple sources. Suppose somebody says, okay, robotics. Great. Robotics is a great way to start STEM. It teaches you basic coding, it teaches you mechanics, a lot of things. So that's a great way to start. They can start with other things later on.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen children from kindergarten pick up coding. But 10 years back, nobody thought a kindergarten child would think of coding.
Right.
They would think, oh, you finish your school and then you start learning how to code or something, or you go to an NIT AppTech class and then try there, things like that. So these things, the paradigm has completely shifted now. The children as young as 4 and 5 can learn code because coding has become much easier. Also, it starts, even STEM also brings in a thought process called computational thinking. Computational thinking is good for you in any subject, not necessarily in STEM only. It makes you think in logic, in a systematic, systematized manner. So start young. You don't have to wait for a certain age. There is no threshold. You can start them very early, teach them the concept at an early stage, and therefore then their interests get automatically piqued and they take it further. It's the children which can take it further, and more importantly, enabler, which is the teacher.
Right. So talking about the education scenario and the school system in India, we are privileged enough to attend the online classes and go to a good school. But there are
Yes.
parts of the country and students who are not privileged enough and do not have the basic access to education. So how do
Yes.
you think STEM can address that, and what would your plan be?
Yes, we would like to work with a lot of corporates and give that. Corporates have got the money for corporate social responsibilities. They need to put it in for good use. It can be in health. It can be in any space. Education is one of the spaces. We recommend always that, okay, if you have an educated country, you have an empowered country. Education is empowerment, whether it's for boys or girls. It's empowerment. Okay? One of the projects we're doing is with a corporate in one of the states in down South India, where we are STEMifying, so to speak, creating a STEM environment in 68,000 schools of the state government over a period of the next 10 years. The state government has said, do a pilot and then we'll slowly take it, because they also understand that STEM education has become a norm now. If will become a norm, if not now, maybe 5 years down the line. It has to be either included or either kept separately, but either way it has to be there. So they want us to create the curriculum. We are doing a curriculum integration with state board integration, and we are putting in the labs and giving them the right interventions so that it becomes a beautiful digital ecosystem that could pave the way for other states to follow. But we need to have that passion. We need to have the foresight. Governments should have the foresight to see what's the future. The future is going to be more. Does India have too many patents to its name? Not too many. Does India have too many inventions to its name? Not too many. Most of what our successful apps, which we have for that matter, also are our edtech companies in India. Are they original? No, they're not. They're actually copies of what we've seen somewhere.
Right.
We know who are the copies of the Amazons, and we know who the copy of the payment gateways. They're copies. There's nothing original. So let's get the original thought. Now we are doing so well in this space, our space program, for that matter, because there is a lot of original thought going on there. Of course, we borrow heavily from the West. It's fine. They started first. We learn from them. But we have a lot of our people doing this. Now, you know that in the United States, most doctors, most of the people in NASA are Indians. Why are they Indians? They have a great mindset. They have a very fertile, fantastic mindset. However, what they don't have are the opportunities in the country. So they are all doing something in the STEM space. Why can't we give them that opportunity here? And that's why, as you said very correctly, we need to take it to the grassroots level. We need to take it beyond cities. Cities, we have access to everything. What about places where there's not? So one of the things we've done also, take this content. We have some great content. How to take it to the grassroots level where they don't even have electricity sometimes. They don't have internet accessibility. Is absolutely not there sometimes. So what have we done? Our team has created a beautiful projector. It's called an edu projector, STEM edu projector, STEM in a box, we call it.
Okay.
Now, this projector is made by us, our teams. It is powered by solar energy. So you don't need the electricity part. And we patented a technology which creates its own internet network within a certain space. So now I just need to take a box. I need to have a blank wall in front of me or white sheet, and it's ready to go. Content is loaded in that and it's ready to go. Now, a person sitting in Bombay has the same access to the same, and a person sitting in a village in remote Maharashtra will have access to the same content. Thereby, same teachers teaching them, same content, same quality, same assessments, everything will start improving. So at the grassroots level, slowly but steadily, there will be a change. Nothing is going to happen overnight. But there are people who will make a change. I hope you're one of them at some point of time. I hope you're one of the STEM ambassadors. Take it ahead to the people. So wherever there is a problem, we have to find a solution. So we have found a solution for rural India, where we know very well that there is a huge problem. Everybody doesn't have connectivity. How do you expect a farmer's child sitting in some remote corner to have this? But here he has an opportunity to go at his community center or a school. We are doing this project with one of the, there is a religious trust which, opens up its mandir in the evening at about 4 o'clock. 4 to 6, they have this projector there. The kids can come there, do all their work on the internet, etc. So they have access to internet at no cost. But we need support. We need support from corporates, from trusts, from NGOs to take this message forward and to link us up to people, or more important, spread the message. Linkages come. We're doing well. We'll do even better. So we need some good people along the way. That's all.
Right. So, sir, as you mentioned, you got the STEM education in India back in 1998. So, sir, how were you able to hold that vision for long, and despite of people not understanding what you were creating here?
Yes. See, initially, in anything which you do in life, you are going to face success and failure. We faced it in the beginning. We in fact had to put our project on hold for a few years before we again revived it, because nobody would understand what we're doing. So obviously we were not making money from there. You also need to make money to survive. Everything is not charity. So we also did a lot of consulting work in the meantime with international companies who understood the concepts of STEM. So while we brought it to India and we were taking our slow steps, we were taking STEM steps first. By the way, now we take STEM strides. So what we do is at that time we took baby steps, and while we got a little traction, we also used our our knowledge which we had together and worked in many other countries. In fact, now the same countries have also grown like we have grown. We now work even in Nigeria, we work in Kenya, we work in Botswana, in Rwanda, in Indonesia, the Middle East, Malaysia. We work in many places now. So, but then they have all been supportive of us. We've been teaching them. We didn't make much money in the first few years, but we sustained because the passion was there in all of us. And all of us said, "Okay, chalo, we'll do our work at the side." We kept on doing other consulting assignments and we kept on taking up more other work, all related to education, though not necessarily STEM education. But we kept doing that, and now we focus on STEM because we know that's the future.
Beautiful, sir. So, just like this is the drill I do with every guest. The last two questions. So, are you ready for that?
Oh yes, always ready.
So the question being, what is the best advice that you've received, be it in your personal life or your professional life, that you would sum up into a 5 to 7 word presentation title?
Yeah, well, it's just taking education to the real world.
Okay. So what is the background of that? Where did you receive that, and how did you imply that?
Yeah, the background is very simple. Everybody says education, 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 but we don't even connect it to the real world. It's just very academic. When somebody told me, Raj, he was my mentor. He's the guy who actually set me off on the STEM journey, so to speak. So when he told me that, he says, you got to take education to the real world. So I said, what is the real world? We are in the real world. He said, yes, but the education is not real world. It's very academic. It's very prosaic. It's one-dimensional. Real world has different problems. Today we have a COVID-19 situation, correct? Is all our education of the past, can it help now? Very little. So we have to again reinvent, make a new vaccines and make some new situations. We are going online. The real world is this. That's where our solutions come in. That's why I said all our education should be connected to the real world. We are not connected so far, but we are connecting. We are becoming the bridge now which connects education to the real world education.
Definitely, sir. And what would your advice be to the young change makers or the aspiring leaders of the future?
Yes. First of all, don't worry if your mom and dad tell you what the hell are you doing. Start going for a job. First, if you have the passion and you have the willingness, you go and follow your dream. That's one. Second, never fear failure. India is a very sad state that we don't have room for failure. We should have room. We should give our kids room for failure. Because if they do not fail, they will never succeed. You've got to let him fall to get up again because he should know how to fall and what. Next time he won't do it. So that is the second piece of advice. My third piece of advice is embrace STEM not as a subject. Embrace them as a way of life for your future. You get up in the morning till the time you sleep. There is some aspect of STEM which is touching you. It always used to, but now it's even more. Today you pick up your mobile phone. Everything what you see is all because of some STEM intervention. You use WhatsApp? Yes, you use WhatsApp. You use the Facebook? Fantastic. These are today the major edtech companies are who? The Googles, the Teslas. What are they doing? Are they making soda baturas? No, they're not. They're making something out of STEM. Something which is STEM connected. And the future jobs, when they say robots are going to take up our jobs, robots won't take your jobs. But you got to upgrade your skills so that you can operate those robots. After all, it's going to be human intervention. But you need to know robotics. You got to know artificial intelligence. You got to know blockchain. You got to know machine learning. You got to know what is cloud computing. You got to know all these things. And the earlier you learn, the better. So therefore, be open to the new. Embrace STEM, embrace technology. Right. These are my three advice I would give.
So, sir, as you mentioned about how we should embrace failure and make room for it, I remember this incident I have from childhood, which I think also spoke about in the show before this. So, on every weekend, my parents used to ask me, what did you fail at today? And I initially used to be so annoyed at that, why they're asking me that. But their reply back to me was, you didn't fail, that means you didn't try something new. So their point was
Right?
failure is not the opposite of success. It's in fact an inevitable part of success.
Absolutely, completely. I completely agree with you, and I'm glad you had your parents which are open-minded and allowed you to fail to succeed. So this is going to be a most important lesson in your life, Nishika. And I'm
Right.
telling you that, take mark my words. You've been allowed to fail to succeed. Absolutely. You may not have failed so far, or you may fail in the future, or you may not. So, yeah, since you're braced for it, it's great.
Definitely,
We
sir.
don't have that. We have an ecosystem only for success. We celebrate success. We never celebrate failure. Whereas the Western countries, and we should learn from there, at least the good things, embrace failure as much as success. You have seen the top names, you name them. They have all failed before they made something in life.
Right, sir. So I would like to thank you to be on the podcast and share such valuable information. And for the
A
work
pleasure.
you are doing, that is commendable, creating skills of future and making a better future for the country.
Thank you so much. We are trying our best. We're doing our best. Even if we make a 1% difference in everybody's lives, our life is worth it.
Definitely, I agree on that. Thank you for the time once again, and thank you for being on the MKR podcast.